which leads me to the Kansas City Royals, who I think will finish in the Kansas City Royals will have an offense. They have Bobby Witt Jr. They have a couple bats that, including Vinny Pasquarello. Am I saying that right? Pascantino, excuse me. So they have Vinny Pascantino, Bobby Witt Jr. They have Michael Massey, who looks like he's going to, in terms of like a new bat to the lineup, if you will, get some time this year. And beyond that, though, the way they rebuilt their bullpen was kind of strange. They signed Chapman. I noticed Chapman from the Yankees. They got Josh Taylor in a trade for Boston. So they have 3 lefties in the bullpen to add to a guy who never throws to Javi Baez because he wants to avoid competition, and Amir Garrett. But this is a team that I look at it on paper, Chris, and I maybe they'll exceed expectations. But right now, Nick Prado, who got some time last year, saw him up here as well. This is an offense that can either go feast or famine, but I just don't see them having enough to get out of last place.
Yeah, no, I think it serves to help, like, compare the Royals to the Tigers, right? Because they have kind of similar rosters. You could give the edge to the Royals' young hitters if you want, like Bobby Witt and Pasquantino and MJ Melendez over Green and Torkelson. But they don't have anything after that. Benintendi's gone. They traded away Michael A. Taylor. You got Nicky Lopez, who had a good year 2 years ago, but it was entirely like defensive driven. He's not a hitter. So yeah, Michael Massey has some potential, I guess, but he kind of gives me that like Willie Castro sort of replacement level vibe. Sal Perez is always going to be there and be a thorn in your side, but it kind of comes down to, like, is Drew Waters for real? We talked about it before the show. I'm skeptical just because he was a highly touted prospect, but then really kind of started treading water in AAA for several years. So maybe he figured it out, but when I compare the Royals to the Tigers, like the Tigers just have more offensive upside. You got Meadows, you got Baez, you have Torque, and you have Green. All those guys could be better this year. And I think the Tigers have better pitching too. The Royals, Brady Singer took a big step forward last year. He's a legit solid mid-rotation starter, and they brought back Zach Greinke again, but this is old Zach Greinke, all right? This is not Zach Greinke of 5-10 years ago. And then beyond that, it's just a bunch of young guys who haven't figured anything out yet. In the Tigers are sort of similar. They have a bunch of young guys, but all the Tigers young guys seem to do okay, right? Like they all at least kind of stayed afloat. Whereas, Daniel Lynch and Jackson Kowar and Chris Bubich, those guys have all really struggled at times. So, yeah, it's hard for me to imagine that the Royals are going to finish higher than the Tigers.